Taking a walk through an African park one day, I saw a sign say animals have the right of way. Wildlife, whatever happened to you're breathing so hot, a lot of political nonsense in the air. You're making it hard for the people who live in there. You're moving so fast, but baby, you know not where. Wildlife, what's gonna
was the light workers, of course, doing our wonderful friend Paul McCartney's song Wildlife off the First Wings album. And hey, folks, what's happening? Happy Sunday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a grand afternoon. Hope you had a good weekend. Um, we had some good weather here. We had a good time. Um, People were out on their boats earlier, but not now. And that's okay. Just makes it easier for me to stay focused here. The pond's right out my left shoulder here. Was very busy today. I'm sure it was in the Hamptons as well, or wherever you're at. If you're in a heavy summer uh, populous area like the east end of Long Island, I'm sure it was very busy. And if you're not, I'm sure you're enjoying that peace and quiet as well, much like I do. Um, uh, but I'm glad you're joining me here because we have a real quick show tonight. Um, I just wanted to go over a couple things. First of all, um, I did have, I did say I had a couple announcements, and I'm trying. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I'm very happy to announce. Once again, didn't know if I'd done it formally, but I know I just saw that I received a text yesterday from the Postal Service saying my package of episodes on my store on a storage block reached Wayne Scott Post Office. So hopefully LTV will be picking that up Monday morning, tomorrow morning, and I believe they'll get the show on the schedule. Okay, so you folks in East Hampton or on the East End or wherever LTV reaches. I'm not sure where they do nowadays. Maybe it's a little further reach or not. It's either way. It's a nice uh, uh, local station for the East Hampton area, the village, the town, and some of the hamlets here like Amagansett and Springs. I don't know if it gets to Montauk. It should, I think. I mean, they cover news meetings that are held in Montauk. So hopefully that's the case. Uh, Either way, I am really happy to be coming back there because it wasn't long ago, before just before I left, I was part of their family, and I couldn't have been happier there. Wow, what a bunch of great people to work with. Now, I worked through two different management, and they were both fantastic. Um, I believe Diane Weir was the first one, and when I first came on board, and then of course Michael Clark, who we all love and miss. I do, and over there in particular, even though I'm not there, I'm sure he's well missed. He did wonderful things for LTV. It was a perfect fit for him. And I hope he's doing well, and his kids and his wife. They're such nice people. I just really dig the whole Clark crew. Always have, always will. And now it's under new management, and quite honestly, I'm not sure who that is. But one person has been there all along, and that's the programming director, um, Patricia Jacobson, and was so kind enough to reach out. And after, I guess, hearing about, I was doing a live stream podcast and asked if I was interested in bringing it back to LTV. I needed a sponsor before I could even ask anybody. One of the LTV folks over there, Jody Gambino, who is a great guy as well. I believe he was the one that was kind enough, gracious enough to sign me to sponsor me as an out of state producer for the show, which is great. I mean, it's just really fun to be back. This was a great place. This is I don't know. I had 3 different shows, plus I had a bunch of PSAs they would put on. I did a couple specials, a history specials, a local history. They put on some specials of local history of my family. I mean, these people were awesome, and not to mention their archives are beyond priceless. Okay. And now they're doing things there that they didn't do when I was there, with these live performances and using that beautiful auditorium where actually Billy Strong and I did a screening early on of our motion picture Isabella from the Galapagos, the a Green Explorer Expedition film. So what you can see on Amazon. Um, and they've always been very, very awesome to us. So I'm happy to say that very soon we're going to be back on their schedule. And here's the second part of the news. I love doing this show. Okay. But all right, look, I'm not going to sugarcoat this, folks. You need a show like this. Okay. I mean, heck, you have no wildlife management on the East End. You might as well have some sort of guidance. And you folks know I'm never going to disappear on you until it's my time to disappear permanently. But until then, whenever anybody out there, and this is anybody in the viewing, and anybody whoever anybody who ever gets a hold of my number and ever has a question or needs a little advice on maybe a wildlife situation, or needs to identify something, or hey, look, I don't care what the reason is. If it has to do with wildlife and you need an answer or an explanation, or somebody to bounce a thought off of, I'm your guy, and I'll always be your guy. Okay. My phone number will always be the same. It has always been the same since I first moved back to East Hampton. And now that I'm gone, I won't change it. Okay. 631-377-6555. You can find it anywhere. Okay. Now, with that being said, I so much enjoy doing this show. And I in some way, I'm gonna figure out a way to continue doing it, but, maybe not on a weekly, basis, maybe on a monthly, once a month, and do a real good quality show. But folks, here's the reason. I'm not bugging out on you, especially when I have such a good, audience building, with my live stream podcast on both the kids show and the adult show. But it's a lot of work, okay? It's a lot of work, and as the summer ends and we gets to winter, where we live, it takes a lot of work to maintain and prepare for winter, and not only that, to sustain the maintenance throughout the winter. It's a little bit of work being out here in the woods, isolated. Okay, so I had to make a choice with myself, and usually what I do is I just end up s just kinda screwing myself and, breaking my back and just becoming exhausted because I just feel like I have to give everything I've got. Well, I've done that so many times, folks, that now the warning light has gone off, and it's telling me, "Look, you're getting yourself back into this situation, okay? Understandably, people understand, and my inner self knows how important this is for me to do. Okay. It keeps me involved uh, in in a field of wildlife that I can share and educate people as a whole. But because of the workload, I feel as time goes by and as winter starts to approach, the quality of these shows are going to start to pay the price. Okay. And I don't want that to happen because it's that important to me to continue to educate you folks, or better way of putting it, to do it together. Okay. I don't want to I just want to do this together. I want us to learn together. Okay. And make it fun and exciting and a little bit different. Um, but I think what it comes down to is when the summer ends on Labor Day, I'm no longer going to do the 5 o'clock show. And I've decided to put all my effort and all that production time that I save with the adult show and really focus it into what is most important to me. The primary reason that I started this to begin with, and that was for the kids show. Okay. So that's my big announcement. And basically, like I said, this will be better quality overall. Uh, Certainly for we want to make sure LTV and the folks in East Hampton that watch the local channels um, get good a good produced show, okay, and find it interesting so that they keep tuning in and support local television in East Hampton and everywhere. Okay. But like I said, I think I can do it best if I do it for one show. So look, I'm gonna I'm gonna continue to do the two shows up until Labor Day. Then perhaps I'm either what I'll do is I'll probably do once a month. I'll do a grown up wildlife topic show type of deal. Okay, but I will continue throughout the year doing a Saturday morning show for the kids. And I plan on making the production value a lot better. That means more guests, maybe visiting other places and going other places and taking little uh, trips and field days like we've done already. Okay. So that's my plan. Okay. It's the kids that are most important here. And you're all important, but the most important is the wildlife. And I feel the best way to serve the wildlife most beneficially would be um, to reach the kids at that level because they're going to grow up and they're going to set the precedent for the future. And hopefully, we'll have enough animals, enough species for it to be worth their while. I'm sure it will. I'm being very sarcastic, and I apologize for that, ruining such a good moment. Um, Anyway, that's the deal. Now, folks, look, pardon me. I had a couple calls this week. Oh, I did want to show you something. For those of you, once again, I am very excited about rejoining LTV. And I was thinking about it and I was thinking about the three shows I had done previously. And I thought it would be fun to watch the intros to those shows. And it was a lot of fun for me. I don't know if it's gonna be as fun for you, but at least seeing, a little different me, because I didn't look, like this. I look a little bit younger and a little bit different. And it's fun to see that sometimes. And maybe some of you folks have never seen this, but here's the three shows I did on LTV prior, just the intros to them. And I had a lot of fun. I made all three of them, and all three of the shows were very well received, and that's why I'm so excited to get back into it. So check this out, folks. Hey, folks, and welcome to another episode of Imagination Nature. Hi, folks, and welcome to Species. I'm your host, Dell Cullum. Species is a short segment series designed to introduce to you, the viewing audience, to some of the more amazing, interesting, and unique animals that we're so fortunate to share this planet with. So whatever you're doing right now, stop, take a short break, and check out this species. How cool was that? A little trip down memory lane, uh, especially for the hair deal. Um, yeah, so those were the three shows, and a lot of material, as you can see. Um, I also will mention that this is really a premature announcement, but there is some another film being put together. that will have quite a bit of footage of me doing um, some wildlife rescue back in the day, back in East Hampton. So that's that. Okay, folks. So anxious very soon. LTV. Who knows what's next? Okay. Now had a few calls this week, more than normal, but not uncommon. Very concerned about the mange on Eastern Long Island. Even had one from our good friend Carla who mentioned, showed a picture. I should have downloaded it to show you, but a deer, a white-tailed deer that frequently comes to her yard that had a coat issue with some mange, some dryness, hair loss. Okay, that looked very, very close to mange. And why not? Heck, this is August. This is the time of year, folks. Okay. This is right the time of year when you're going to start seeing these little critters really start running around and appearing a bit different and in need of some help by all means, and not just the little ones too. Okay, some of the adults will get it as well. Okay, wherever the animals come together. Okay, like feeding areas, like if somebody puts out food in a circular area and then animals come together to eat it, what's a good example of that? Bird feeders. Okay. That's a great example. Okay. That's where a bunch of birds come together, they congregate. Okay. And it's that this is where diseases, this is where outbreaks happen. Okay. It's a great example because we know that the bird flu issue is because especially in East Hampton, what happened was Georgia Caban, okay, freezes over, but because there's a bit of movement, one area stays unfrozen, okay? That area is where all these birds congregate and they spread amongst themselves much easier and faster these diseases, okay? Same things happen with mange, okay, particularly with the fox, because most of the time this happens in the den. All right, the babies are fine to begin with. Mama gets it, or the renard gets it. Either way, they've got to interact with the baby eventually. One of them, okay, and how it ends up happening is one or the other, but it's gonna get spread. It's first of all, it's gonna get spread within the den, okay, and then it's gonna physically get on the kits and spread it amongst them. And that's a shame because that's where you run into the problem. Because even when you treat the animal above ground, okay, you can treat that fox. All right. Even in the field, it's a much more difficult and left to professionals. I've done it a bunch of times, but I wouldn't just go out and suggest it to anyone. But what happens is you have to do it once. Okay. That kills the lice. That kills the scabies. All right. The mites. Then a week later, you have to give it a secondary dose of whatever you're treating. In this case, we're talking about ivermectin, okay? Whether it's, I prefer a gel, all right? And then that will kill the eggs on the fox that have yet to hatch. Okay, you've killed the scaby mites. Now you killed the eggs, but you still got the eggs in the den and on the babies. Okay. The first thing they're going to do when mama walks in that den is cuddle up and curl up and nurse and do it, get as closest to her as possible. All right. So they need a third dose on the third week. Okay. And this is the same target animal. And then that target animal will go back into the den. Of course, this is fit for a scenario where a mama has mange and she has kids. Okay. That haven't left the den yet or just left the den. Okay, and this way that third dose will get down in there, and any all those eggs that hatch or any of the lice that are already on the babies, this will residually knock them down to nothing. Okay, and then of course as time goes by, even if it's the following year, it's just the same cycle again. And as far as Eastern Long Island, forget about it. You get the double whammy, these animals. Okay. Not only do they get the mange, but they get loaded with deer ticks all over their face. And the ticks go for the thin skin the best. That's their favorite. It's easier to penetrate. And where's that? The lips, the nostrils, the nose, and around the eyelids, that thin skin. So when you see an animal out there that can't eat, he's so emaciated, that's because his lips are so badly damaged that he can't drink or eat. And if you see one walking around with its eyes closed, which is very common, I mean, we used to see them on Fresh Pond Road rubbing their faces on the road, trying to remove the ticks off of their eyes, okay, so that they could see, and cars would have to stop. And these animals didn't run away. They had no choice but to stay there because they couldn't see. It's a tough situation. Now, this is 5 years ago. I can't imagine what's happening down there now. But, folks, all I can tell you is this. You guys have the Evelyn Alexander Wildlife Rescue Center, okay? These are good folks. They've been doing this a long time. I highly suggest if you run into a situation where you see a red fox who is severely um, in need of help due to sarcoptic mange, deer ticks all over the face, ears, lips, and eyes, nose, whatever. Okay, or both, which is the worst case scenario. So bad, I could have found pictures. I don't even want to show them because I'm not in the mood to go there today. It's just horrendous what it does to these things. Now, the good news, if if there's any good news, okay? Here's a little guy that I rescued back in East Hampton, okay? Couldn't open his eyes. His ears were almost eaten away. His snout had blood on it, and he had two siblings that were in worse condition. No hair on the tail, chewed on the leg from the scabies mite bites. This was the better of the three. That's why I chose to show you this one. But you can see just the face alone that this little guy needed help quick. Okay, and so did the siblings. Fortunately, well, it wasn't that difficult, but they didn't give me a hard time at all. I was able to capture them, and actually two in a trap, and one I caught by hand. I threw a towel over him, grabbed him by the nape of the neck, and then put him in a carryall. He was begging for help. He didn't even care. He was like, if this is a predator, kill me. If this is help, save me. And that's what he got. Okay. So what happened is he went to Evelyn Alexander, all three of them, and I used to go visit them because they were kept together. I think one was kept separate for a while because it was in much worse condition. Either way, I got to release them since I brought them there, and I released them where I found them, and that was over in Lazy Point. All right, where I was able to see them, fortunately, observe them, and that's where they had to be released because, of course, there possibly was a mother and father, and um, regardless of their condition, we try to keep everybody together. And these little guys went to Evelyn Alexander, and within months, they made the transformation that you couldn't believe. Okay. And not that yet. And then um, here's kind of an example of the transformation that can happen. So, look, folks, this is the best news about mange. Okay. It can be, you can cure it. Even when it's really bad, these animals, they want to survive, okay, until they can't, okay? But up until then, they'll give it their all. And the medication that is used for mange in the hospitals are fantastic. All right. Now, it does take a little while. Sure. Sure. It doesn't take just a couple weeks or a month. It takes a month or two or three, maybe. But regardless, they get back into the condition of 100%. They're healthy again, and they're ready to contend with usually what is the winter. Okay. And I'd much rather have the fox looking like the one on the bottom during the winter than the one on top, because that's when foxes don't survive, because they have no hair to protect them from the harshness of the winters. Okay. Here's a little thing I wanted to show you. These are the same foxes. Actually, the last two. Okay, folks, we're back here with the two remaining red fox kits that we rescued months ago, and that the Evelyn Alexander Wildlife Rescue Center was gracious enough and awesome enough to bring all three of the mange-infested foxes back to health and able to release them back into the wild. We saw the first one get released in my TV episode of last month, and these are its two siblings. So we're back in the same area, the same location. We're going to let these guys go now. And again, folks, this is the kind of work that the Evelyn Alexander Wildlife Rescue Center does daily, year-round. They are a non-for-profit organization. They have. I'm going to move this ahead just a little bit because of time constraints, but absolutely, they do some great work at Evelyn Alexander. This is just a great example. Oh, there you go, sweetie. Go with your brother. There they go. There you go. It's okay, sweetie. I got a couple pictures of them, but basically, I think the best picture I got, and I should have put that up too because it's a beautiful picture, but all you see is the butt and the tail, and the two legs are airborne. So they skedaddled. They did end up stopping in the distance, got some good shots, and then they came together and headed towards the Napping Highway from Lazy Point side, where I released them. So I didn't mean they were heading towards a highway. Anyway, folks, as far as the ticks go, come on. Pat Hope. Oh God, I got to get Pat back on. I hope she's feeling better. Didn't want to bother her for a while, but we need to talk to her again as we get into the nymph time. Those little nymph bastards. Oh, they're the worst. Okay. Reducing ticks without permethrin involves modifying habitats using biological controls, deterring wildlife hosts, and applying natural based plant based repellents. Folks, take a screenshot of this, okay? We will talk about this stuff again. I'm going to get Pat on and we're going to just discuss this very screenshot right here. This is some great information. And of course, Pat will uh, put frosting on this and a cherry on top, and you'll have the best information available to reducing ticks, um, not only on your property and your cells, but also hopefully reducing them in the field so that we can reduce them on wildlife, which is a big deal, right? Okay, folks, last thing I want to do, and then we're going to end the show real quickly. And of course, is this another one of those videos that it didn't fit on my media? So I'm going to have to share a screen with you, but I think I have it all figured out. Um, Folks, this is um, um, the Fox movie that I did a long time ago, back when around the time, a little after I first moved back to East Hampton. But when I really had a good opportunity to do some good study and research on the red fox, um, my buddy and all of our local friend, Chris Wren, was kind enough to give me a heads up, and just me, about a particular den that was super active and had been, I guess, several times before. And I set up things, and during that, something incredible happened, and the results were pretty mind blowing. Probably once in a lifetime um, ending on this. And fortunately, I documented the whole thing because I was doing research and study when all this happened. So it just turned out it ended up being the very first episode of Imagination Nature. And it's fitting after Frank Vincente from the Wild Dog Foundation mentioned it last week, that I'm going to replay it now. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Red Fox of East Hampton film that I did quite a while ago. And meanwhile, well, we'll talk about that another time. But let's see. I'm going to have to share the screen. I can do this, folks. Okay. And I'm going to share it through the speaker on the computer. So you should be able to hear it just fine. Okay, and I hope you enjoy. Here you go, folks. I guess I got, oh, here we go. Huh. All right, bear with me, folks. We'll get her going. Hold on. Let me try this again. You know, we had problems with this last week, and it should have been easier this time. Here, hold on. Here we go. It's not playing. All right, folks, hold on a second. Just bear with me. I'm going to stop this so you can see me rather than a blank screen. I'll get it to work. Just hold on. Didn't this happen the other day and I got it to work? I think I did it on the kids show. I got it to work much faster though. Well, now this is strange. Let's see. Here we go. Hold on now. Let's see if I can do it this way. Share. I apologize, folks. Just bear with me, okay? This might work. 1, 2, and on April 7th, 2013, I received a call from a friend telling me that a fox and several babies had taken up residency close to his shop. He saw them often and thought I might want to take photographs. I immediately formed a filming plan, then went to the site. I thought I'd get a few good shots. What I got was so much more. After recording their active times above ground with a trail camera, I knew the best time to set myself in place without being noticed. I would also use this time to inspect and take shots of the den site, intricate holes and tunnels leading to a world below ground. I had gathered a lot of information, so it was time to don the camo and get some photos. With all we know about animal behavior, you cannot predict it. As with all nature, surprise is as prevalent as commonality. And just when I thought I did everything right, I think I've been spotted. Mother Fox guarded the den with a keen eye from a distance. I took those 2 photos and slowly walked away. I returned with a second trail cam and recorded the time she came and left her post. I couldn't risk getting caught a second time, as Mama would certainly move the family to one of several alternate dens hidden within this dense white pine paradise. I'm really hoping she doesn't move them this time. When I finally got in undetected, I proceeded to set up my cameras, a simple array and very low profile, a motion camera in the distance, an infrared camera to my left, a high-definition video camera to my right, and me in the middle shooting with 2 handheld cannons. I was hunkered down and had done my homework. If I did it right, I would be seeing activity very soon. Then, right on time, "15 feet from an active fox den, and in walks the Renard, which is the male fox, and the Vixen, the female fox. I remain motionless, and they circle me before stopping directly in front of me. They might smell me, but they haven't quite found me yet. Papa walks right up to me, and Mama begins acting odd. I can't even move the camera away from my eye. I feel Papa sniffing my shoulder, and then 5 kits exit the den and begin nursing. I remain still as Papa is standing guard next to my right foot. He walks off after a minute and doesn't return while I'm there. Mama will also leave after the feeding. The kids will play. I spent the next 90 minutes motionless, quietly shooting hundreds of photographs. Mama returned and stood next to me, watching her young run around playing. The kids were also curious at times. I couldn't change my position, so when the sun beat down on the den mound, it got real bright. I took this shot and realized that there were actually 6 kids in the leash. An average litter. For the next 2 weeks, I continued to shoot photo after photo of this beautiful fox family. I switched to a one-piece camera and would just sit motionless on the outside of the mound area. They began to get used to my daily appearances. Before too long, they realized I wasn't a threat. I had recently started a red fox trapping job in Watermill. I was attempting to trap a mother and 4 kids that were living under a pool deck. What made this spot appealing for the fox family was a farm, just a stone's throw away, with live chickens. The homeowner that hired me had also been away for several months. So I set up my system, and the next day I trapped 2 little youngsters. Okay, here we are, day 2, back at the trapping site. We have a couple interesting. This is actually a perfect sign of red fox behavior. I've sealed all holes except the one with the trap. The renard brings food to the vixen, leaving it just outside the hole. This is telling me there's a mama and baby still under the deck. Which I actually heard clucking and crowing yesterday over in the neighbor's yard. Ironically, I don't hear it today. But here we have a little guy. There's number 3. Numbers 1 and 2 are standing by, waiting for the others. I'm going to need a safe area to relocate the leash that doesn't trespass on another fox's turf. The homeowner met with me on day 3. He regretted to tell me that early that morning, the chickens were very loud and riled up. He then heard 3 gunshot blasts, and shortly after, the chickens calmed down. I now had to rethink the entire plan. I didn't know who fell victim, but I had nothing in my trap. I had come so close. It was a sad day. And if that wasn't enough, I went back to check the den in East Hampton, and everyone was gone from that location. There were clear signs that a dog had come through, marked a few spots, and collapsed one of the 5 holes at the site. Foxes rarely have just one den, and for this very reason. It's not uncommon that a leash might have 5 or 6 dens. This den had been abandoned. It was over. The 4th kit fox is alive and in my trap. Unfortunately, the homeowner who hired me found out that in fact the mother fox was shot while invading the farmer's chicken coop. I'm not sure what happened to the Renard, but he just seemed to disappear. Now, what to do with the kits? I went back to the Hampton den and it was still empty. I started walking around in the shade of the tall pines. It was dark, even in the middle of the day. I looked down a long cutout path and saw a ray of sunlight shining down on a pile of falling limbs, just shining right through the tops of the trees and hitting the ground like a spotlight. It was beautiful. As my eyes began to focus on that spotlight, I thought I saw something move. Then I saw it move again. I quietly rushed to the spot and was overjoyed to see it was an alternate den. It had 2 freshly used holes, and the ground was littered with fresh rabbit meat and a deer leg. This gave me an idea, so I did some quick research. Then I called the good folks at the Evelyn Alexander Wildlife Rescue and Rehab Center and ran my plan by one of the staff members. I gathered up the 4 kits that I trapped and headed back to the Hampton Den site. The plan was to release the Watermill kits and introduce them to the East Hampton kits. The theory being the average litter of a red fox vixen is 6 to 10. But most of all, I was relying on the fact that animals can't count. Okay, Mommy seen me. The babies have seen me. So, the whole stealth aspect is ruined. But, let me see if I can get this to work. As long as she doesn't see me, release the baby, I should be okay. All right, little guy. Let's do this, okay? You be good. Okay. You saw it, gang. She's in the hole. All 4 kids were successfully released at the Hampton Den site. 3 of the babies ran into the den upon release. One kid missed the hole and ran off into the woods. I hoped it would find its way back to its siblings, but that's all I could do was hope. The other 3 did enter the den, and that was good. The main concern now was hoping the vixen wouldn't notice the additions and would accept them either way. The watermill kids were probably a week or 2 younger, but all very healthy. It was now a waiting game with fingers crossed. I returned to the den every day for the next 4 days. The 3 kits were staying together. The 4th never returned. The original family moved once again, but Mama didn't include the new kits. They were on their own. Not the scenario I was hoping for. Day 5 and 6 passed with no change. The kits seemed healthy enough, but they didn't know how to hunt for food. I supplemented their diet with fresh chicken parts, but that wasn't helping the overall issue. I was just buying more time in hopes that the vixen would return and find these little orphans. But in reality, my expectations weren't so optimistic. At the very worst, I figured I could retrap and raise them. Abandoning them was not an option. I set up the infrared camera for one more night. The next morning, I rushed to the site early to retrieve the camera. I wasn't expecting any miracles, as I felt we were all lucky to have come this far. My anticipation was due to the fact that I was going to make my decision based on the prior evening's results. I pretty much knew what I would see. 3 young kid foxes, wondering where their brother or sister is, and their mother for that matter. I still had more work ahead of me. I had to safely trap all 3 of them once again, and then come up with a new plan. When I rolled the footage, I couldn't believe what I saw. I was hoping for the vixen, but this was just as good. The 4th kid fox that I had trapped had returned. So each night after, I'd leave a little food for the kids and bury bigger pieces around the outer den site to possibly lure in the vixen. 3 days passed. The food I'd been hiding is dug up each morning. Paw prints look bigger than a kit fox. I keep my fingers crossed. I decide to sit a while, watching, listening. I'm in a natural depression about 25 feet from the den entrance, hidden, just waiting, my head barely above ground so I can just film at ground level on a fixed tripod. Any movement could spook the foxes, and I don't want them leaving this site as well. All of a sudden, Mama and 3 kits come strolling through the area. You can't see in this shot, but 2 of them are behind me, tossing a mole or a mouse up and around. Then, something spectacular happens. With the 3 kits and Mama now behind me, you're looking at the remaining 7. That makes the full 10. They are now a complete fox family. The 4 kits that I trapped and introduced have been accepted to the family. It's a very, very happy day. I packed up, I pulled the trail cams and left the site for good. I couldn't be happier with the results and the awesome education the red foxes have given me. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you for joining me again this week on Let's Get Wild with Dell Cullum. I hope to see you next week, next Saturday. I'm sure I'll have something special planned. Until then, remember, folks, wildlife matters. That's right. If somebody says, "Who told you that?" you tell them Dell Cullum told me. All right, guys. We'll see you. Okay. I'm not going to play out the music this week. I think you've had enough. Thanks, folks. We'll see you again next week.